Welcome back to the OHIO podcast interview series, everybody. And I am joined by my special guest today, Mecah Hannah. A lot of you who are going to watch this, you know her. She goes to a lot of different Ohio State podcasts and YouTube channels and interacts with a lot of you in the chat. She knows a lot about Ohio State football, including recruiting, and I am super excited to have her on here. Mika, welcome to the OHIO podcast.
Super excited to be on here. This is great.
Mika, for someone who might not know who you are, share with everybody a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind.
Well, obviously I'm a Buckeye fan. Um, I was born at OSU Hospital. I guess that's how it got started. They actually saved my life. I was born 1 pound 14 ounces.
Oh my.
I was born premature. I was actually the smallest baby born at the hospital at the time. To survive, that is. So, yeah, I guess you could say I was born a Buckeye fan, and it just kind of grew from there.
That is quite the miracle. Now that is something else, Mika. So where does your fandom outside of being born at the hospital? Where does your fandom for being a Buckeye come from? Was there someone in your family or someone close to you who kind of led you down that path?
My dad, definitely. My first love was actually basketball, and then when I got older, it and they stopped playing defense in basketball, I um, kind of switched to football at a really young age once Michael Jordan got out of it. And yes, I do remember Michael Jordan. I know I was very young, but trust me, I remember him. He was my hero growing up.
Oh, hey, that's gonna be music to my wife's ears. She loves Michael Jordan. She's actually been to his restaurant in Chicago. Now I'm guessing you and I are probably pretty close to the same age if you remember Michael Jordan growing up, because I do as well. And I was
I'm
a I,
30,
go ahead. I'm
but
sorry.
I'm 30, but my dad recorded a lot of the games, and
Okay.
I watched the recordings and stuff.
Yeah. I was also a big Larry Bird, Magic Johnson watcher in the Detroit Pistons back in those days. But yeah, Michael Jordan had some battles with the Pistons, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Now, so your fandom kind of stems from your father, and you kind of your story's kind of similar to my own. I was much more a basketball fan growing up than I was football, but I kind of fell in love with the sport of football, and of course, it's if you're going to live in the state of Ohio, you're just going to have to love football. That's just how it goes. So that's kind of how my indoctrination came about as well. But maybe share with me a little bit of some of the earlier memories you have of the football team.
My first memory would probably be the 2002 national championship game. I remember dad letting me stay up to watch that game, and that was a huge deal for me just to, be able to stay up and watch it with my dad. And um, it, like I said, it just kind of grew from there. I remember I was really upset when Maurice Clarett left. I actually cried because I didn't want him to leave. But yeah, it's just always been a part of my life, I guess. I don't know how else to be.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. Now, yeah, so 2002, I was actually I guess I would have been a junior in college or sophomore in college that year. So that was a magical year for me as well. And I'm a huge Jim Tressel fan. Mika, you big Tressel fan as well?
Yeah, I actually got an autographed picture from him.
Nice. Yeah, I do too. I think having a autographed Jim Tressel coached sweater vest might be the next piece of memorabilia that I need to somehow acquire in my
That'd be
collection.
awesome.
Yeah, that's I got the Woody Hayes this year. I got Woody Hayes autograph. That was the holy grail for me was trying to find a Woody Hayes autograph. And I got that. So next up, I think is Jim Tressel autographed sweater vest. So that's my next piece of memorabilia I'm going to be looking for. Um, Do you have? So you mentioned you have a Jim Tressel autograph photo. Do you? What's your favorite piece of Ohio State memorabilia?
Um, my dad got me a like whole team signed um picture of the 2014 championship team for Christmas one year, and I think that's my favorite. That or my Jim Trussell or my Eddie George signed magazine.
Nice. Very nice. Okay. That's awesome. Now, the photo that you all are looking at here, Mika sent to me, and that's Kenny Guyton is on that photo, and a couple other former Buckeyes. Um, who have you? What Buckeyes have you met, Mika, in person that you cherish?
I've obviously met Kenny and Philly and Pitt Brown,
Mm-hmm.
and I got to meet Archie a few years back. He's so nice. I love
Oh,
Archie.
isn't he
He
great?
he stayed 2 extra hours just to sign autographs for people.
Yeah. I think Archie Griffin is the greatest ambassador of Ohio State athletics I've ever. I don't think there's even a close second. I think he's a fantastic human being, and he was a great football player. I mean, obviously, two-time Heisman Trophy winning player, the only one in the walking the planet Earth. And as good as a football player as he was, I think he's even a better human being, and Ohio State is blessed to have him as an ambassador of the program. Yeah, Archie's a great human being. Um, Now you remember the 2002 team. What are some of your memories on the 2014 national championship team?
Definitely the run through the heart of the South. I remember screaming, "How's that for SEC speed?" And my dad started laughing
That's great. Yes,
because
indeed.
all I heard the whole lead up to that week was how slow Big Ten teams are. And it was 15 yards in a cloud of dust. He was done. We ran
Yeah,
right through him.
yeah.
And then we waxed the Oregon Ducks, obviously.
Yes, we did. We waxed up. That's poetic. Absolutely. Yeah, it was like a watching Zeke in that run, man. That was like a hot knife through butter. They weren't stopping him. That is fantastic. Do you have a favorite Buckeye?
Um, that's like asking me to pick my favorite dog.
You don't have a favorite dog?
Nope, I can't. They're like my children.
Oh, how many dogs do you have?
Right now, currently two, but I've had more than two, so I can't pick a favorite.
Okay, well, I won't ask you to pick your favorite podcast then. That wouldn't be fair, huh?
Uh, I couldn't do that either. I love
I
all you guys. You,
oh
I love getting into the podcast game, and everyone's been so nice and encouraging. And I really just want to say thank you to everyone for helping me get into it and letting me ask advice and just posting comments and being real nice. Didn't know if I'd be very good at it, but it seems like people like me, so
Well, you're incredibly knowledgeable. That I will absolutely go to bat for you on. And one of the things I love listening to when you speak, Mika, is your recruiting knowledge. It's not something I'm. I mean, I've followed recruiting, but it's not my favorite. I'll be honest. I like more of the journalistic side of following the team. That's my background was in journalism. But give me your like where does your passion for recruiting come from? Because I can rattle off a name and you just know more about that recruit than just about anybody. I mean, maybe the handful of guys who actually it's their job to, follow recruiting. Where does that come from?
I read a lot of articles and follow like obviously like every YouTube channel and I fell in love with the stories. I like stories like Jake Cook and Bodman Miller that go to camps and stuff, and they might not be the highest rated guy or the flashiest guy, but they work hard and they earn an offer. And I guess the first one that really got me into it was Terry McLaurin. He could have he could have went home and said, "Nah, I'm not coming back. Plenty of other schools want me. I'm not coming back." And he didn't. And now he's look at what he's doing in the NFL. That's just an amazing story. I just love the stories that come out of sports and stuff.
Yeah, I've heard Zach speak about that. Zach Smith, who was the wide receiver coach at the time, he wanted to get Terry McLaurin and he wanted to recruit him, and Urban didn't want to, and Urban challenged Terry, and he went back home and I think it was what was it catch a was it 1,000 balls a day off the jug machine,
Yeah,
and he went home and he caught 1,000 balls a day and came back to Ohio State and earned that scholarship. And of course, like you said, the rest is history. He's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. And it just I think that goes to show you what hard work and dedication can do when you couple that with your talent. Um,
exactly. And if you're passionate about something, it's not really it it's fun, just like podcasting is for me now. It's just like chatting with my friends and getting to know people through the chats and stuff and interacting with people. It's been really great. I think we have the greatest fan base and community for sure.
I agree. Thank you for saying that, Mika. It sometimes when you do this, not everybody appreciates your efforts or appreciates your opinions. I read plenty of negative comments as well as positive ones, but it's great to hear those positive ones, and it encourages you and it keeps you going. And one of the things that I do love about this community is the pay it forward mantra and the attitude that a lot of people in Buckeye Nation have, and their willingness to drop a dime and for a good cause. And I think about when we did the second and 7 drive this past fall. So many of our listeners were so giving and towards that cause, and just so encouraged by that. um, I thank you for saying that, Mika. How many times have you been able to go down to watch a game? Have you been able to watch a game in person before?
I went to the spring game when I was younger, but I haven't been able to go to any games recently. I'm Mello keeps inviting me to the Texas and Ohio State games, so I might I might have to make it to that one if I can swing it.
That sounds like a plan. I think I'm going to be there as well. I do think that that's a game I'm going to be going to with my buddy Carl. At least he informed me I was going with him, so it sounds like I don't have a choice. I think it would be great if you went to that game so I could meet you in person,
Yeah, I'd love to.
and get my picture with you
I
and
don't know for sure if I'm gonna be able to go, but if I know positively, I'll shoot you an email and let you know.
sounds good. That sounds like a plan. All right, now before we dive into this year's team, because I do want to pick your brain about this upcoming season, let's reminisce about the season that was. I don't know if you can see me or not, Mika, but I'm wearing my national championship hat. I am still celebrating this season, and I'm going to celebrate this season all off season long. Uh,
Me too.
I think what we witnessed was incredible in the run that they made in the national championship game. So let's start there. Let's go back to November 30th. You probably remember how down I was. That Sunday following the game, I that was the lowest I've been as an Ohio State fan. I had given up hope that Ryan Day was going to do what I thought he was capable of doing. Shame on me for giving up hope. It took people like you and some other ones to kind of pump me up, and my cousin Ryan Miller, former Buckeye, to kind of get me in the right headspace before the Tennessee game. And then the team that came out against Tennessee was an incredible team. What do you think changed between November 30th when we lost to the team up north 13-10 and then when we came out in Blitzkrieg Tennessee? What changed with this team in your mind?
I think with the loss to Scum, we had nothing to lose anymore, and we just played the way we knew we could. Everybody came together and they said, you know, screw the noise, we're just gonna get together and we're gonna show them that we're the best team in the nation, and we did.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, there was not only a coming of together of the players, but I think that the coaching staff came together as well, including Chip Kelly and Jim Knowles who've moved on. Chip Kelly to the NFL, Jim Knowles over to Penn State now. Um, what are your thoughts on Ryan Day?
I think he, he's got blood in the water now and he's hungry for more, and I think he's gonna get it.
I love it. I love it. He smells that blood in the water. There you go. All right, so we go on from Tennessee, and after taking down the mighty SEC, and we go to the Rose Bowl, and it's revenge game against Oregon. Now, earlier in the season, we lost 32-31 on a last second play. That obviously I still feel there was a second left on the clock, but I digress.
No
Uh,
landing loophole anymore.
no landing loophole. There you go. Were you surprised that we came out and just bombed them in the first quarter?
No, I wasn't surprised at all because I knew Ryan Day was fired up to get back at Lanning for that game and that entire team. And just, I knew there was a lot of noise surrounding the game. And the coaches and players can say what they want, but they listen to that stuff. You couldn't possibly shut it all out.
Right? No, you can't. And um, you're right. They heard it. They heard the noise, and they responded admirably. Obviously, um, so we go from Tennessee and Oregon, who was the number one ranked team in the country, undefeated. And next up is the new SEC team, the last hope, as I'm calling the Texas Longhorn game. That was the SEC's last hope because Georgia had lost the week before to Notre Dame. They got beat by Notre Dame, and so here was the SEC's last hope. You've got Quinn Ewers, former Buckeye Quinn Ewers, leading the team in Texas. Closer game, but then you have at the end of the game when it's 21-14, the sack, scoop, and score uh, from Jack Sawyer. Was that? Do you, in your mind, is that the most memorable play in your lifetime as a Buckeye, or do you put something ahead of that one?
It's definitely up there, but I have to go with, the 2002 last second flag or the um, run through the heart of the South. It's a three-way tie for me.
Okay. Yeah, you
I
can't
can't,
pick it, huh?
I can't, I can't.
Do you remember Holy Buckeye in 2002? Do you remember that game against Purdue?
Yeah,
That is my all-time favorite play as a Buckeye fan. Was
I
Holy
actually got
Buckeye.
that clip saved in my favorites on YouTube and go back and rewatch it.
I think I
That's
love
got
that
to be one
play.
of the all-time best calls, announcement calls.
Yeah, holy Buckeye. Yeah, I love that. I shared a special moment with my friend Doug Jarrell, who's passed on and since then, and I go back in my mind at least once a week and just remember that moment and that play and the moment I got to share with a good friend of mine. I think that's why I cherish that play so much. But I also remember when I was in eighth grade in 1996 during the Rose Bowl when Ohio State beat Arizona State and the game-winning drive when Joe Germain hit David Boston and he strutted into the corner of the end zone. That was a big moment as well. Sounds like that might have been a little bit before your time, Mika, but that was a big play as well.
I've
Um,
seen clips of that.
yeah, it was a big moment, man. That was a big moment for Cooper and for that team. Um, so going back now and thinking about the season, when did you know Jeremiah Smith was going to be a star?
Oh, I figured once he got on campus, he was going to be something great. The way the coaches and the other players talked about him, you could tell he was going to be something special. The way that they said he just put his head down and worked, and even like Igbenosin and the defensive backs were saying he don't talk trash. He just gets back to work. Even when they got in his face and started talking trash back to him, he'd come right back at him and score touchdowns and stuff. And that's just amazing to me.
Yeah, I think he lets his play do all the talking, and it speaks very loudly. he he doesn't need to talk trash when his game does it for him. Yeah. So you were on the Jeremiah Smith hype train really early before the season even started, huh?
Yeah, I wasn't. Ryan Day wasn't the only one who had his knees give out on him when when he finally signed. I was almost on the floor. I was so happy.
There you go. That's a great story. Yeah, that was a big one. That was a big one. Someone said to me, um, I think it was on Twitter, um, or maybe it was in the comments on YouTube. I can't remember which, but they said Ohio State doesn't win the national championship team without Jeremiah Smith. I think that's a true statement, but I also there's a lot of players. Ohio State doesn't win the national championship without a lot of guys, including Will Howard. And even though Will Howard might not go down as the greatest Ohio State quarterback of all time, I think Will Howard's leadership and his grit and attitude was what this team needed in a quarterback. What's your thoughts on Will Howard?
Oh, I absolutely love Will. He's definitely a leader, and that's what I love about him the most. You need that type of guy that can look at other people and say, I got this. This is on me, who's just chill and confident and just, you know, can people want to follow and want to be around him, and you can tell he's got that kind of magnetic personality that just makes people want to be a part of his life. And I think he's going to do great things in the NFL. I really do. I think whoever gets him is going to get a gem of a player.
I agree. I actually agree with that. I think Will Howard's going to have a nice long NFL career. He might be a journeyman and a backup, but I mean that's a pretty nice that's a pretty nice life to have if you don't have to take the bumps and bruises, but to still collect a nice couple million every year as a backup quarterback. But I think if he lands on the right team, he can absolutely succeed in the NFL. But it is going to take the right team, in my opinion.
I
Um,
really think that Chip Kelly might reunite with him,
ooh, you're the first person that's brought that up. That is interesting.
is what I think. That would be my scenario that I would want for him. Because I think he knows how to coach Will when Will obviously knows him. So I think that would be a great matchup
Hmm.
if
That
it would
is
happen.
that is really interesting. The team I kind of feel would be good for him is Buffalo. I think he kind of he reminds me a little bit of Allen, and I think it would be good for him to back him up for a few years. And if there was an injury, I think he could step in on that team because I think his play's similar. But that's just my 2 cents. But do you think how many Ohio State guys uh, are going to get drafted? Do we break the record? You think?
I think we definitely break the record.
I think was it 15 would tie it,
Yep.
16 would break it. Yeah. So okay, so you think we're going to get that 16th, huh?
I think we get 16, and I think someone takes a shot at G. I
G.
really
Scott.
do.
I do too, and I'll tell you the team that I think will. I think it could be Seattle. Seattle or Oakland. Not Oakland, sorry, Vegas. They're in Vegas now, the Raiders. Um, Pete Carroll knows his father, can, and of course he's the head coach now for the Raiders and or Seattle because that's where he's from. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Those are two places I kind of have my eye on for him late in the NFL draft. But hopefully he had a good pro day today and it will help him out in the draft. Um, So let's move on to the national championship game now. My co-host, I know Chris. I know that Chris. He get I get a kick out of Chris, but he
I
doesn't have
love
a.
I love Grumpy Cat. He's I love Grumpy Cat Chris is what I call him. And I say it with love.
That's so good. Uh, you know his feelings on Marcus Freeman, the head coach at Notre Dame, and we're going to talk
Yeah.
about the national championship game next. What do you think of Marcus Freeman? Are you more like me? Are you a little bit more forgiving of him, or do you lean more towards Grumpy Cat Chris on this one?
I mean, I love Marcus. I always have love for Marcus. But it seems like he's been going out of his way lately to distance himself from the program. And I get it. You're a coach of another team, so you got to kind of support that team. But you don't have to take shots every chance you get. And I feel like he does a lot of that. Now, I wish him success, just not success against us.
Well, he's 0-3, so so far, Mika, I think you've hit the nail on the head with that one. So we get into the national championship game now. Did you ever have any doubts that Ohio State was going to win that game?
Nope.
Me neither. It felt very similar to me to the 2014 national championship game against Oregon. It was just kind of a anticlimactic, foregone conclusion. I mean, hats off to Marcus Freeman, the offensive game plan they had in that first opening drive, but after that, they didn't really have anything.
Yeah, they just didn't have the horses to keep up with us. And that one play to J.J. Smith where Christian Gray is pointing out his shifted stance and he was just doing it just to mess with them. When you're doing things just to mess with people, you know you got it in the bag. And I think the players felt that.
That's so good. Yeah, yeah. I think the confidence was through the roof, right? I love that the touchdown where it was kind of a broken play, and Will Howard runs around and finds Q in the back of the end zone on a pass, and
Yeah.
he gives that huge fist bump, and you knew it was over at that point. But what's your favorite Will Howard memory from this year?
Will Howard, probably the stumble and bumble when he said he did it on purpose because I just love the fact that he said he did it on purpose.
Against Texas, right? Yeah,
That was
against
yeah,
Texas.
that
Yeah.
was so funny to me when he come back and said, "Oh yeah, I did it on purpose." That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah. Yeah, because Ryan Day called him out on that during the celebration. Chris and I were with Roy. We went to the celebration that Sunday, and Ryan brought him up, and he said, "What happened there?" He goes, "I did that on purpose, Coach. I
Yeah,
just wanted to burn more clock." But yeah, I also loved after the game and the post game. Jack Sawyer kind of called him out about it. He's like, "I just didn't want to trip and fall like on my way to the end zone like Will did." So,
yeah,
but yeah, I felt like this team had great chemistry, and I think that was one of like if this team had a superpower, man, it was their chemistry as a team.
yeah, definitely. And I love seeing the different personalities of people and how they interacted together and stuff and joked around. And you got your jokers and you got your quiet leaders, and you need all types to be on a team like that because there's a lot of pressure on these guys. And I think it's great when they can come together and, you know, lean on each other like they did.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so Ryan Day is now in the same boat as Urban Meyer, Jim Tressel, and Paul Brown. He's won one national championship. The only Ohio State coach to win more than one was Woody Hayes. He won five. If Ryan Day wins a second national championship, does he become the second greatest coach in Ohio State history? Or do you think, like Chris, he needs to have a winning record against scum?
I think he will get the winning record against Scum once sanctions hit because that program's falling apart,
So
and
you
I absolutely love it. We're building a dynasty while their kingdom is crumbling, and I absolutely love it. I
so
think it's
you
hilarious.
you believe a hammer's coming, huh?
Yep.
I got you. All right. So you are the one who every time I post anything, you like to remind me, Mika, that we are building a dynasty. I want you to dive into that for me a little bit. Give me your thoughts on why you think Ohio State is the next great dynasty in college football, and define for me what a dynasty looks like in this new age with NIL and with the transfer portal and with now a 12, soon to be 14 team playoff.
Consistent, consistent winning and playoff appearances, and of course, national championships. Now, we don't have to get back every year. I know that's unrealistic. I would love that, obviously, but I know that's unrealistic. But you can see how much Ryan Day still wants it, and I loved how they took down all the banners and stuff and said, this team hasn't earned anything. We're ready to go out and win our own. And you can just tell the leadership and how he talked about how he's been studying Nick Saban, and he's the hires he's made in his coaching staff to shore up our weaknesses, like with the offensive line and stuff. I love what we're doing there. Not only do we have a great offensive line coach, but he has great assistants with experience that is really attractive to recruits, I think. And I just love what he's doing. You can tell he's so much more confident and relaxed, and you can tell he just wants more. Like I said, there's blood in the water, and he's a shark. He wants more meat.
Yeah, that is, I like how you put that. Yeah, I'm super high in the Tyler Bowen hire. I think he's a great recruiter. That has already paid dividends. You know, we've seen that already in the 2026 class. But my initial reactions of Tyler Bowen are this guy knows what he's doing. And so far I'm super excited about that. What did you think about Brian Hartline being promoted to the offensive coordinator?
I loved it, and I knew it was bound to happen eventually. He's just done so much on the recruiting front and developing the wide receivers. He's deserved to get his shot, and I think he's got the mind for it. And I'm really excited to see what he can do. And even if he struggles, he's got like Ryan Day right there, and he got a chance to learn under Chip Kelly. And I mean, you can't ask for a better surrounding team of staff to work with.
Right, right. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I mean I felt like it had to happen. I don't, obviously we don't want to lose Brian Hartline, and I think that there was a chance that we might have lost him if we didn't promote him. So it's time. It's time for him to take that next step in his development as a coach. So I agree 100% with that. And I think there's an air of confidence around Brian as well as Ryan. You know, and I really like Billy Fessler, the new quarterbacks coach. I know he's young, but he seems to have a really good head on his shoulders.
And Will Howard credited a lot of his mechanic changes and stuff to Billy Fessler, and he said he loved working with him. And you can tell, like, recruits like working with him. They talk about how they like him, and I think you have to have young coaches in there just to be able to relate to these kids and show them, hey, yeah, I've done this. Like, I know he was a backup quarterback at Penn State and everything, so I think it lends credence to what you say when you can say, yeah, I played that position and I had success at the position.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And yeah, I mean that's not a bad vote of confidence from Will Howard, national championship winning quarterback Will Howard, when he promotes you like that. So yeah, absolutely. All right, let's move on to this season now, and we've kind of talked a little bit about the coaching changes and whatnot. We're replacing 8 starters on defense. We're replacing 5 or 6 on offense, depending on how you want to look at the offensive line, beginning of season versus end of season. Um, Of course, the main changes on offense include at quarterback and running back. Um, I have this team penciled in right now, and I want to talk to you a little bit about this because I put an asterisk next to this, not an asterisk like what they have up there in Ann Arbor, but an asterisk and like possibly could change my opinion. But my opinion is right now that this team should have somewhere around a 10-2 expectation for the regular season. There's 4 games on this schedule that I have circled in 2025 that worry me. Obviously, the first one against Texas at home, but it is at home. That's big for us. Also, we have that game at in Champaign, Illinois, at Illinois. That one worries me a little bit. Illinois' got some of the most returning talent in the Big Ten. They're coming off a big win against South Carolina in their bowl game, and that is a program that is trajectory is trending up. We also have the home game against Penn State, who a lot of people feel is last year's Ohio State this year with all the returning talent for them as well that decided to come back to Penn State versus going to the NFL. But again, that one's at home. And then we have the trip to Ann Arbor at the end of the season, which I feel is going to be a big win for Ryan Day. 10-2 is where I'm at. Mika, where are you at with expectations for this team in the regular season in 2025?
I think if Julian Sane is what he's advertised, we're going back to back. Because I think we're going to get more sacks on defense because I love JT and I love Jack, but coming off the edge, Kenyatta and Caden Curry are monsters. And I just think we're going to have double digit sacks with those guys. And I know that the people behind them aren't necessarily proven, but we got a lot of nice young talent. I like the transfer from Idaho State. I like Joshua Mickens. I know he had some sort of ankle injury or something. He was on crutches the other day, but they said it appeared to be minor, so that's what I heard on Buckeye Huddle. So, and I'm really high on him, especially if he puts on weight. I think he was a steal from LSU when we got him because he was committed there, and then we flipped him. But yeah, I really think we're gonna be something special.
You heard it. You heard it, guys. Mika's saying back to back natties. Now, I will say this: there is something about this team that is very interesting, Mika. You go back to 2014, that year, that they weren't expected to win a national championship that year. Everybody was pointing to 2015 as being the year that they would win the national championship. But they did it as sophomores. You go all the way back to 1968, the Super Softs team. Again, everybody was pointing to 1969 as the year that they should do it, but they did it in 68. I understand that there's some really good veterans on this team, some juniors and some seniors, but all the talent on this team is very young. It's sophomores, it's redshirt freshmen, like Julian's saying. It's guys who are only in their second year on campus, but they are uber talented guys. And so that being said, there is some credence to what you're saying that this could be the year that they do it. What game scares you the most on this schedule?
Probably the Texas game, just because it's the opener, and it'll be our first time really doing live action against an, a really talented team. I think Texas is going to be really talented, but I think if we can shut Arch Manning down, I think we got it.
Yeah, it's going to be tackling is going to be very important in that game. Arch Manning's legs are definitely a weapon. Um, they say he can throw, but I haven't really seen it. But he's mostly been running. But
He's got this weird sidearm type motion that I don't know where he got it from because Peyton and Eli don't really do that, but if it works for him, it works for him, I guess.
I guess so. Yeah. That's funny. All right, Mika. Here's I'm gonna throw some interesting questions out at to you. Not Ohio State, but who's your second favorite team if you had to pick one in college football?
Hmm. 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 I don't really have one.
You bleed scarlet and gray so much, you're like, I can't do it.
No, I can't do it. I mean, I don't wish like injury on him or nothing, but I just I can't do the whole second team thing. I've never been able to do that.
Oh, that's great. That is so good. It's funny because I'm with you. I mean, I've always had this little kind of like respect for Northwestern. You know, the little engine that could there out of Chicago, but we've played them enough. We don't really lose to them, so it's kind of
I
like,
mean, I respect what they do academically, and
yeah,
they're a great. They're like that plucky little
yeah,
underdog puppy that's always, they try hard.
yeah. Yeah, I always like Kentucky. Not necessarily in football, but in basketball because I have a lot of family from the state of Kentucky, and they're all big blue fans, and so I kind of rooted for Kentucky growing up a little bit, but they were always kind of my second team after Ohio State. But yeah, in college football, they're not really a football team, so it's kind of hard to root for them. But if there were two teams to join the Big Ten, and you could choose any two teams you wanted who aren't currently in the Big Ten, who would you choose and why?
Alabama and Georgia.
Oh, you just bring the South to the North, she says. Okay,
Yep. I want
why's
to see.
that?
I want to see the games. I want them to prove that they can play in cold weather. That they can take us. I'm so tired of you know, all the SEC. SEC is all that matters. That's only conference that can play football. Come, come join us. Prove it.
Mika is challenging you boys from the South to come up here and play us in some cold weather. Didn't go
I don't.
so well for Tennessee, did it?
Nope. I don't think UGA has the culture, and Alabama's limping since they lost Saban.
Hmm. I'll tell you this much though: if Georgia had to come up here to play us, they'd get here really quick.
Yeah, definitely.
Just got to watch out on the freeway if you see them coming. Everybody, get out of the way.
UGA Fast and Furious edition. That's ridiculous, man.
It's something else. I posted this the other day. Since the beginning of January of 2023, and so two years since January of 2023, Georgia has won 24 football games, and there have been 25 arrests.
That's insane. That's
They're
ridiculous.
out. They're basically averaging 1 point whatever to 1 point. I think 1.1, 1.1 and a half arrests per win right now.
Did you see the article where Kobe was saying how his players were complaining about being coached too hard?
No, I didn't see that. Well, that's ridiculous. What?
Yeah, and they call us soft.
Wow. Oh, no kidding. No kidding. That's something else. All right. What about Notre Dame? Would you like to see Notre Dame in the Big Ten, or you're like, just stay independent, you bums?
I got an uncle who's a Notre Dame fan, so just because I'd like to tease them more when we beat their butts, yeah, I want them in there, but I don't think they'll ever join. They're too proud of being independent.
Yeah, but they might have to eventually. It might happen, but they wanted to join the Big Ten a long, long time ago, and Michigan blocked them. So,
Not with the
uh,
playoff extension. I don't think they'll ever join a conference.
hmm. So if they don't join, realistically, what about North Carolina?
I mean, I like the basketball, and I'm anxious to see what Belichick can do. They'd be a good addition in
Yeah.
terms of they're both what they call it UA, uh, what they call it, where they academically
Oh,
match up with
yeah.
us. Or
Uh, uh, is it UUA? Oh, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. The academics. It's basically a medical research institutions is how that is. But there's a certain status that you get. I think it's UUA or UAA status. I think something like that. I'll have to look that up real fast. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
or I think if we want to open up more West schools to recruiting, Arizona State's got potential there too.
Yeah, that is true. I love Arizona, the state. AAU status. I had it backwards. AAU.
Yeah, that's what it is. I couldn't
As-
think of it.
Association of American Universities. Yeah, there's 71 of them. All the Big Ten schools minus Nebraska. They had it and they lost it. But yeah, your AAU status has to do with your ability to do medical research. That's the big part of it. But
Isn't that the entire story of Nebraska though? They had it and they lost it.
yes, yes, it is.
That's gonna be on their like school motto. Like we 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 had it, we lost it. We're trying to find it.
Oh my, we're trying to find it. We've been looking for it for decades.
Yeah.
They're lost in the corn maze. They're lost in the corn maze, Mika. That's funny. You're funny, girl. Let me tell you. Oh shoot, I have had a ball interviewing you. You are a joy, and I appreciate you so much. Coming on to our shows, calling into the call-in shows and things. Do you have any questions for me, Mika?
Yeah, I just want to know what I can improve on this podcast business.
Oh, honey, you just keep being you. That's the thing. You have a personality and a charm that is just natural, and you just keep being you. That's why people love you. Your
Well, I
knowledge is there.
appreciate that, and
Yeah.
you and the guys over at Buckeye Huddle and Chuck and of course Mello and Dev. Everyone's been so nice and encouraging, and all my friends in the chat. I'm not gonna say names because I know I'll miss someone, and then I'll hear about it later. And
Yeah, you will. That's how it goes when you do that with the chat.
I
That's true.
I truly do love working with you guys and talking about football and getting to know everyone. And I've met some great people doing this, and I hope to continue to get better at it and help the channel grow and build something over at Buckeye Boys and expand my role and just turn it into something great. Because I think with the people around us, could be something great. And if it turns into something where I can go out on my own, that'd be great too. I just love building relationships with everyone and talking Buckeye football. Like I said, I'm passionate about it, and I hope it shows. I think it does.
It
And
does.
I love talking football and building relationships with people. I'm a people person.
Yes, you are, and your passion absolutely comes through. It that is there is no doubt about that. And I'm just tickled pink that you thought enough of us to hang out with us and be a part of the community that we're building. And this online community of Ohio State fans, it's really interesting because everybody's so passionate about what they believe in, and sometimes we rub each other the wrong way. And I just try my very best to be a positive person with the community, and just I'm a truth seeker. I'm a truth teller. It's just it's my personality as a preacher, and so um, it's just kind
Yeah,
of who
and
I am.
I really appreciate how you always try to be positive. It really shows. I don't get into all the feuds and stuff. A couple people try to get me in the feuds and things, and I just, I love everybody. Try to be positive. We're all just trying to live our lives and do our best, and that's the way I look at it. It's you don't have to take things so seriously as long as you're not hurting anyone and no one's hurting you. It's fine. People say what they want to say, and like and to go on a little tangent, this has really been helpful for me because I used to have anxiety about public speaking, and I'm really comfortable with it now, obviously, and that's just been really great and really helpful.
Well, I'll say this: you speak very clearly. I understood every single word, and you're very passionate about what you speak, and don't ever apologize at all for what you have to say and how you say it, Mika, because I think you say it beautifully, and I am just. I want you to know you've got someone supporting you and me. So whatever you decide to do in this wild online world that is podcasting and Ohio State fandom, you can trust that the old Podfather's got your back. And if I'm anything like the Godfather, you definitely want me on your side.
Yeah, definitely. Always want the Podfather on my side, and Grumpy Cat too.
Grumpy Cat too. Mika, if anybody, if this is someone's first time hearing you, where could they find you if they wanted to follow you or hear you talk about Buckeyes again?
Do a show with Mello on Buckeye Boys, where I talk recruiting and other topics. We mainly talk recruiting, but we break down games and stuff too, and things that affect recruiting, like the transfer portal and stuff like that. It's been really fun working with them. They're great guys.
Yeah, so go look them up on the Buckeye Boys. Most of the people who are going to watch this are already following you guys over there. It's our communities are very similar, and so
And um, leave a comment, guys. And I try to respond to every comment, whether it's positive or negative. I don't care. Constructive criticism is allowed, but if you're a turd, I'll tell you you're being a turd.
there you go, Mika. Let's tell them like it is, girl. Thank you so much, Mika, for joining me. I have really appreciated this. I've needed this so much today. And you have no idea how much of a blessing you are to me and to other people. So keep being you, keep doing your thing. Like I said, you ever need somebody to back you up, you let me know, okay?
All right, appreciate that. Thanks for having me on.
You are
OH,
you are absolutely welcome. IO, you all know what to do. Be kind to one another. I owe someone's OH in Carmen, Ohio with all your heart. Till next time, go Bucks.